Hey everybody, as luck would have it, Dr. Fantastic just made a new acquaintance, Justin, my next door neighbor in the hills
Yep.
of Coeur d'Alene. And Justin is really intelligent, and I love nothing more than speaking and having fantastic conversations with intelligent people. And
I'll
we
be
need
sure to
more of
let you
them.
down.
We know, and then it just happens that he's an expert in bears. Well, not an expert, let's say, but he knows a lot more than I do. I just flayed my first bear. I boned it and cut the fillets, and so this might be B-roll for my cooking show. But Justin, tell us about bear meat.
Well, I know more about bears than I do bear meat. I am actually a wildlife tracker, certified in a couple of bioregions, so that's where I know about bears. But yeah, the life cycle of bear during the summer is really kind of unique. I was telling you about like what you can expect their meat to look like based upon diet. In the spring, it's going to be obviously very lean. It's going to actually have an odor. A lot of times of grasses. They're going to be eating a lot of grass to clear out their systems, coming out of hibernation. Also, the musk that their body puts out after eating almost exclusively that food stuff, it's very attractive to other bears. So, like in the meat that you've got here, it's obviously spring, summer. It's not going to have any kind of like, sugary characteristics. Whereas in the fall, late, autumn, if you're in an area where there's blueberries or huckleberries or something like that, those bears will gorge on those, and
Oh.
their fat will actually take on a different color.
I ate
Yeah,
a thimbleberry the other day for the first time in my life.
did you?
Do you know about that as well?
I don't know anything about it.
It looks like a raspberry. It's about half the size, it's dark red, and it's delicious. And it's wild. I love eating food off the trees, fresh food.
Oh my god,
It's nothing better.
it is the best, and honestly, there's so many vitamins and minerals and stuff that are washed out, as you were mentioning, out of processed foods and that are present in those natural foods. So yeah, I mean, so you can run into bear meat that is blue practically, like purple, because the fat has been stained so much with blueberries.
Oh,
And so their diet as omnivores will change dramatically. And the same as a human, our fat will actually store a lot of the chemical content of the diet.
so I don't know how old this is. I didn't ask him how long it's been in the freezer, or whether it was a summer bear or winter bear.
Yeah, it really depends. I mean, I'm not familiar with where it was harvested, whether or not they have tags for sows and boars, what the situation is. So impossible to tell. But
And again, like I was telling the lady, I was going to cook some bear meat, and it's like, well, I hope it comes out well. I said, it doesn't matter if it does or not. See, I don't put any pressure on results. You just
yeah,
have to go with life.
yeah,
And if you think positive, positive things happen.
I agree.
It manifests positive action. If you think negative, boy, you never, I think Henry Ford said it best. He said, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah,
And
that's
Rene Descartes just said, I think, therefore I am. And, I just have a life of stories to help the young people to get through life. Because, like I told that little boy, I said, the more you know, the easier your life's going to be, and the more valuable you're going to be to others. And there's so much information out there. And you knew about the telomeres. You knew about Fukushima. You're a rare breed to know all that stuff.
I just I have a lot of spare time in my hands.
So you say you're a tracker? What's the deal with that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's a hobby that's taking a foothold here in the United States, but it's always been a hobby. But to actually be certified, a certifying body has emerged that
Okay.
will certify you as a tracker. And it came out of Africa, actually. The Bushmen in Africa needed a way to actually be employable by these resorts that, set up these huge operations for safaris and hunts and things
Right,
like
right.
that. So they needed a way to verify these guys knew what they were talking about. So they came up with this cyber tracker evaluation system, which is now spread globally. And I ran into it because I was in Austin and going through a survival intensive training course for primitive survival.
Wow.
And then once that was done, the guy, his name is Dave Scott, and he's an amazing naturalist down in Austin. Um, I said, I don't want this to be over. And he goes, you should try tracking. And so it was an annual program, and I just kept doing it. 8 years.
Because you were a corporate guy.
Yeah, I was working at Apple at the time, yeah.
So that was a great getaway from the desk. Were you inside in a desk all the time?
Yeah, yeah.
I can't imagine you in a desk. You
Neither
didn't
do
have
I
a beard.
anymore.
You probably didn't have the beard at the time either, though, right?
I did.
Did you
I
really?
had the
Oh,
beard and the tattoos, the whole deal. Like,
okay.
Apple's a different place, man. You can get away with some stuff there.
Oh, is that right?
But it's still corporate America. And eventually, I think starting that path of
Yeah.
naturalist kind of studies
Yeah.
was the beginning of the end at Apple. Like, I think it eventually led to some realizations about like what I was doing, and and kind of how I was spending my time
Right.
and with what
And your
kind of-
life, not your time, your life, your life.
for real.
You know, my wife thought I was totally, or thinks still, I'm totally crazy for what I'm doing. And maybe a lot of people do, because and maybe I am, but I'm going to go with Steve Jobs. And he reminded me by saying Apple. Steve Jobs once said, people who are crazy enough to think they can make a difference in the world are the ones that do.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Steve over my wife.
I love what you're doing. I actually just recently completed a 2-year tour of all the national parks in the West with, with my telescope.
Oh,
I didn't get them all. I missed quite a few, actually.
there's a lot.
But yeah.
You know how many lakes there are? Because this lake here, Coeur d'Alene, is gorgeous. So I looked up lakes. You want to try to guess how many lakes there are on the planet? You both try to guess. See who comes closest.
I'll guess 200,000.
I don't know. I feel like, should I do the Price is Right rule?
Actually, I'm
and
not
say
going to guess
one?
200,000. I'm going to guess
This is the closest without going over.
100,000. The only reason I'm saying this is I think I'm being fooled by the Minnesota saying of like land of 1,000 lakes.
Oh.
Or was it?
Well, that should give you a hint that there's a lot more than what you're thinking.
Well,
114 million.
oh wow.
It's a lot of lakes.
Wow. Yeah.
And there's some gorgeous ass like Lake Como, Lake Tahoe. I mean, there's a whole, and they say that this one is one of the best ones in the world. It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's
I love this place. I loved it till they start putting masks on. Not to change the subject or anything,
no,
but
not at all. But yeah, your journey that you're starting here is gonna pay dividends. Yeah, for others, for yourself. Like these kind of vision quests, these kind of things that we set up for ourselves, not just as men but as humans, to explore what we've left uncovered, spiritually, mentally. They're valuable, man. They're really valuable.
well, I've been told by some really smart people it's going to be 2 generations before it can kick in. To be, to tell people to start being kind and civil and considerate and friendly and polite and all the good things that we were taught, but money got in the way.
Yeah.
And if we could just start being civil to one another and get that, we all have agreed button. We just have to not push it, but we're so tempted. And it's really the overcrowdedness that does it. You don't find it in Coeur d'Alene,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hear too much horn honking and, fuck you, because you slow someone down for 10 seconds. I glide to red lights because you can't get to your destination any sooner by stopping at the red light quicker.
Yeah, I feel you.
And everyone's in a hurry to get to that damn red light, man. Spend money to get more gas to get there. Wear your brakes out when you get there. And what are you going to do,
You're talking to the right guy. I don't drive crazy at all.
That's fantastic.
But metaphorically, you're right, man. People are they're just too anxious to get to their own death.
Yeah.
It's like,
They don't realize how little time we have
I
here.
know.
There's been 200 billion people lived on the planet so far. 7.5 of them are still alive. And we all think that you get the weight of the world on our shoulders, and they don't understand that you can enjoy it because you're not going to be here that long.
It really is something that most people still bear the weight of the world
Yeah,
on
they
their shoulders.
think their life is, if they weren't around, then the world would crumble, I guess, especially in the corporate world.
Oh yeah.
We get replaced real damn quick, real quick. You know it, and Apple, come on.
Apple was just fine without me. Just fine without me.
Well, I hope you got some big stock so you don't have to work anymore.
Oh no, I'll be working again.
Oh, yeah, working.
I can't have money in the stock market.
Well, I don't know if you know anyone in Apple, but every corporate, I sent letters to probably, 40 different CEOs, handwritten, self-addressed, but it was it was called Good versus Fantastic, and that they suggest to their employees, instead of saying have a good day, have a fantastic day.
Oh yeah.
It's a big change.
Yeah.
It's so much energy in that word.
It's cool that you're pushing it into those spaces.
Well, that's if only Starbucks. Anyone listening right now, if you know someone high up at Starbucks, if Starbucks were to be the company that starts it, every company will follow suit because every company buys coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah.
28,000 locations around the world. Imagine every one of those employees, when they hand you your coffee, instead of saying what they did today, have a good day, have a fantastic day.
Yeah. It seems simple enough.
It seems simple enough. And if it's a company policy, like Apple is in sales.
Yeah.
You sell more when you're fantastic. You want to buy a computer from a good salesperson or a fantastic salesperson, right?
Yeah.
You want to buy a good product or a fantastic product. I mean, it really is a no-brainer, but we don't see the light because all we see is, you know, we have tunnel vision, and most people have blinders on.
Yeah, well, I mean, like when I fail to understand human behaviors, what I like to do is kind of trace it back to animal behaviors, because it's almost always something that is rooted in some kind of innocence, you know, and to see that people center on their fear and their anguish rather than their happiness and their joy, it's not weird. Like, an animal is always on guard. An animal is always looking out for predation.
Fight or flight, I think that's called, or something.
Exactly. So they always have to be ready for that possibility. And so I forgive humans for concentrating or really just becoming obsessed with the dangers and the things that news tells you should worry about, right? The exploding case count of COVID, that must mean something. I should be worried. You can forgive humans for being that way. Past a certain point, it becomes inexcusable. And I think the point of recognition needs to be like, am I really responsible for the world? Like, I'm not. Like, why do I have to watch CNN and be informed about the status of these international things? Like, why was that important to my life? Like, so it's when I see humans really kind of wrapping themselves around the axle, I think back to the fact that, in the end of the day, we're just animals and trying to keep ourselves safe.
We are. We're just another species on the planet, and we're screwing. We don't get into that. We could talk here for hours, because if we start talking about the environment and how humans screwed up, the bears didn't screw up the environment. That's for damn sure.
Well, I've seen a couple of ornery ones lay a poop or two in the wrong place, but nothing too outrageous.
Yeah, that's not gonna. That's not a nuclear meltdown, unfortunately.
No.
Unfortunately.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Well, you're fantastic.
Thanks, man.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Good to meet you, Dr.
And you're going to be ambassador number 446, I believe.
Oh my God! Is it a post I can get promoted in, or?
Yes, it is. You can help me change the world. Just to help spread the movement. As an ambassador, do what you can do.
I deal in that currency. We're in luck.
There you go. Right. You never know. See, it took me 66 years of left and right turns to be sitting at this bench with you. I don't know how. And how old are you?
43.
And it took you 43 years of left and right turns. You had to make every one of those decisions, those left and right turns, correctly to meet me today.
That's very true.
Or we would never met today.
It's very true.
You know?
Her.
And
she's been the biggest distraction and kept me on the path.
There you go. She looks fantastic. Well, anyway, so we met, and then you never know what's going to happen from it. And just by you being your one vote on the petition to make the world a more kind and civil place is one step in the right direction. What do they say? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step. Absolutely. And one step at a time. And with people like you as ambassadors, I have a very impressive ambassadors. Those 400 ambassadors are fantastic people, like you. They really are. I mean, you're laughing, but there are some amazing, John Paul DeJoria is one of the ambassadors, movie stars and all kind of fantastic people.
Yeah.
And some homeless people are ambassadors.
Oh, some of the best people, man.
Some of the best people. And, the homeless have some really great stories, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure, the best.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be an ambassador.
There you go. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a fantastic night.
Have a fantastic night.
And a trip to Mount Glacier?
Glacier National Park, yeah.
Wow. More parks. How many parks are there?
Oh, gosh. National parks, or are you counting monuments?
National parks. I was watching a documentary the other day on it. It's amazing.
70 order-ish?
70. Wow.
There's so many other things, though. National monuments, state parks, national forests.
Oh.
But like actual parks, I think there's like around 60 or so.
That sounds right. Mm-hmm. I think that's correct.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
One in every state or more, yeah.
I've certainly seen more than half.
Wow, that's fantastic. We're going to have to do some podcasts now when you're on the road. Okay? Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye. Get back to your lady friend. Video presentation is brought to you by Via Drinks. Live the Via life. Proactive hydration, low calories, delicious taste. You'll love it. It's fantastic.
Overpopulated cities around the world have caused people to become a greedy, selfish, and litigious society. Would you like to be happier, live longer, never be forgotten, and help make the world a kinder, more civil place? It's actually easier than you think. Every day you're asked, how are you? Instead of saying good, say I am fantastic. It will make you look better, feel great, and reduce your stress. Making the world a better place starts with each person. Please join the Be Fantastic movement today. what you want to be, you can be. Be fantastic.
I met Dr. Fantastic along life's way, and I heard him say, "You are fantastic, yes you are. You are fantastic,